We can see a game in there between Mikhail Tal and Robert James Fisher, also known as Bobby Fischer. In this game, Mikhail Tal was white and Bobby Fischer was red. Remember, this is so important match happened in 11th October 1959 of in candidate. Mikhail Tal start the game with d4. Fischer responded with knight f6, and the game continues on c4 and g6. And after move knight c3, Fischer brings his bishop ready for castling. Tal plays e4 and Fischer plays d6, and the game continues with very normal way. The both side castles develop their piece, and then Fischer goes for the e5 and the center break, and Tal just push the pawn. He says, I'm not interested on the mm, breaking the center, and Fischer develops his knight. Bishop pins and the knight to the queen, and then the pawn is being pushed. Now he has two way: capture the knight or just go back. He says that I'm pinning the knight and also going back. You can't play g5 because then your queen is so much weak. And then he Fisher plays a6, what is a slightly mistake. And after Tal castle, uh, Fisher plays queen e8, and the game continues with a normal way. Fisher is trying to gain some space on the queen side, and I mean Tal and Fisher offer a trade of bishops. Tal takes the bishop and knight takes back. And the knight jumps to b3. Now you can look at this, that Tal queen side is so much strong than the Fisher's queen side, and the game continues with bringing up their queen, and the king comes up. This is also a no good move because you defending the pawns and your king is now a active piece. And then Tal goes for some attack of thinking, like playing queen g3, queen h3, and trying to attack the king because he has one light square bishop. And then the game continues with Fisher plays knight g8, and then he plays c5, and then after this move come f5. If Tal decided to take the pawn takes pawn, and then f4, and then after take. This is a kind of inaccurate because can take back. Now there is some kind of pressure on the king, and some move after the bishop can go to d3, and then the game continues and Fisher plays another mistake. This is not a slightly mistake because after I can bring the bishop into the game, although you can capture, but this doesn't matter. I see him in this position. Mikhail sacrifices the knight, because if you take, then your queen is hanging. That is actually not kind of a sacrifice. And then queens comes up, and he plays the first brilliant move. This is not at all a surprise because we are seeing a game of Mikhail Tal, who made brilliant moves. And then this is why the a brilliant move, because Tal sacrifices the knight on c3 is involved. And just look, he cannot take because his queen is hanging. So after he takes the knight, we have a huge attack on the king. I can just check him out, and then rook takes, queen takes rook, and there is no way to survive anymore. Attacks the queen, and then after some move of playing is trading the queen, and I am now actually having a rook for a bishop. I am completely better. I am playing great, and then the game continues after some move like knight e5, and Fisher resigns because there is no way to win, and the queen is in trouble. What a game played by Mikhail Tal. And this is actually a kind of very dangerous attack of the sacrifice of before few move. Just see, he says my knight is hanging, no problem, I just don't care about that knight, get out. And by the way, this game is played in 1959, where Fisher is so young and he hasn't have a good performance, so we can't judge them on this game. Thank you for watching, guys. Like, subscribe this video, and let's end this video. Bye bye.